Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So you may be wondering that sir have given the wrong video discussion, but solitaire is a good example of our video, or what will be the topic for this video discussion, and that is the concept of probability and its application. So life will be very easy and simpler if we know about, or without a doubt, what is going to happen. Okay, for example, if I draw a card here, it will be very easy to solve this if I already know what is the card here. Okay, so let's say it's a queen. Okay, so here the outcome of any decision would depend only on how logical and rational the decision was. Okay? So pag nawalan ka ng pera, nalugi yung business mo, etc. Okay? So kailangan daw, for example, is if you forgot or if you got caught in the rain, it would be because naiwan mo yung payong mo, or hindi mo chinek yung weather forecast. Okay? So what is probability? Probability is a numerical statement about the likelihood that an event will occur or not occur. Okay? So in this video discussion, we will examine the basic concepts, yung mga terms, yung relationships of probability, and yung tinatawag nating probability distributions. Okay, so here let me give you a quick example. So what is the chance that I will be drawing a spade, okay, in this card? Let's say this is a deck of cards. So there are total of 52 cards in a deck of cards, right? So what are the chances? So how many are the total spades in a deck of cards? 13, right? So 13 divided by 52, the total number of cards, is equals to 25%. So let me try my luck here. Okay, that is a spade. Sir, ang galing naman, nahulaan nyo. Of course, video discussion to eh. So another example is a coin toss. What is the chance, or what are the chances na makukuha mo his head when you toss the coin? 50-50, okay? 50%. So, ano ba ang kailangang tandaan sa concept ng probability? Okay? Sa probability, kailangan yung tandaan that it's either 0 to 100. Okay? Let me change the video disc. So, probability is represented by this equation. 0 greater than equal or less than equal the event or the probability of the event that is going to happen, okay, and is less than or equal to 1. Okay, ibig sabihin nitong statement na to means that the probability of an event, okay, varies from 0 to 1 only. Okay, meaning 0% to 100%, right? So a probability of 0 indicates that an event is never expected to occur. A probability of 1 means that an event is always expected to occur. Okay, and the second basic rule that you have to remember is that the sum of all simple probabilities must be equal to 1. Must be equal to 1. For example, lahat ng all possible events, okay, lahat ng possible events should equal to 1. For example is yung rolling of dice, okay? Yung rolling of dice, there are basically 6 sides, right? So every side there is a 16.67%, and 16.67%, okay, that is The meaning, lahat ng possible event na mangyari, the event of you dicing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 should total to 100%. Okay? 100%. So I hope that is clear. Those two are the basic rules of probability. First, it should be only 0 to 100% or 1, and all possible events should equal, okay, should total to 1. So here is a representation, outcome of role, etc. So there are two types of events. First is yung tinatawag nating mutually exclusive event. Okay? And then next is the collectively exhaustive. Okay? Collectively exhaustive event. Okay? So what are the difference, or what is the difference between these two? So mutually exclusive is if only one of the events can occur on a trial. For example, is rolling a dice. Okay? Only one outcome can occur. One only, 2, 3, every trial, isa lang yung lalabas. Okay? But don't worry, I have a example for this one. How about collectively exhaustive? Collectively exhaustive is if the list of outcomes includes every possible outcome. Okay? So, let me give you an example para mas maintindihan nyo itong pinagkaibahan ng mutually exclusive at saka collectively exhaustive. So, for sure, hindi nyo naintindihan what is mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. So, let me give you an illustration. So, here, draw a spade and a club. Is this event mutually exclusive? Yes or no? Yes, of course. Sir, bakit po? Kasi, sabi nga, only one of the events can occur. Ibig sabihin, it's either you can draw a spade or a club, okay, in a particular trial, okay, or in a one trial. So, that is mutually exclusive. How about, is it collectively exhaustive? Okay, so the list of outcomes includes every possible outcome. Tama ba? No. Meaning, hindi ito collectively exhaustive. Why is it no, sir? Kasi, pag pinag-add mo si spade at club, mayroon pang kulang. Mayroon pang hearts at saka mayroon pang, ano ba yung isang shape? Diamond. Right? So, okay. How about draw a face card and a number card? Okay. Draw a face card and a number card. Okay. Is this mutually exclusive? Yes, of course. Because in a trial, you can either draw a face card, yan yung Jack, Queen, Kings, okay? Or a number card, and that is yung Ace hanggang 10, okay? So, is it collectively exhaustive? Yes, okay? So, another try. This table, inshallah, will make you understand the concept of mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive na concept. Okay? How about draw an ace and a 3? Is this mutually exclusive? Yes. Okay? Yes, because you can either in a trial, yes, hindi mo anong tawag dito, hindi ka makakapag-draw ng 3 at ace in the same time. Okay? So this is mutually exclusive. Is it collectively exhaustive? No. Why is it? Because the total cards does not revolve or does not only include ace and 3. Mayroon tayong 2, mayroong 4, 5, 6, 7 at yung mga face cards, etc. Okay? How about ito? Draw a club and a non-club. Is it mutually exclusive? Of course, yes. Why is it, sir? Kasi in a trial, pwedeng makabunot ka ng club, pwedeng makabunot ka ng non-club. Okay? Okay? So, how about collectively exhaustive? Yes, because lahat ng possible outcomes includes a club or a non-club. Non-club meaning diamond, spade, and heart. Okay? So, yes. How about a draw a 5 and a diamond? Okay? Dito niyo na maintindihan kung ano yung mutually exclusive. Okay? Mutually exclusive this is not a mutually exclusive event. No. Why is it? Because there is a possibility that you may draw a 5 with a shape of diamond. Okay? So, hindi siya only one of the events can occur. Hindi siya only one of the events can occur kasi nga mayroong possibility na makapag-draw ka ng 5 and a diamond. Okay? Is it collectively exhaustive? No. Okay? Why is it? Kasi nga, yung deck of cards natin, mayroong mga face cards, mayroon ding mga ibang card. Okay? Another try. Draw a red card and a diamond. So, obviously, this is not collectively exhaustive because you may draw a red card and a diamond since a diamond is a red card. So, this one is not also collectively exhaustive. So, what is the let me represent this in a Venn diagram. Itong mutually exclusive at saka not mutually exclusive na anong tawag dito? At probability. So, mutually exclusive is represented in this way. Okay? This is the probability A. Let's say this is the probability that you may draw a spade, and this is the probability that you may draw a club. Okay? So, ganito ang representation niya. Okay? So, how about a mutually not mutually exclusive na event? So, for example, itong number 5. How do we represent that? So, ganito yan. This one and this one. Okay? So, here is a representation of A or the chance of drawing a 5, and this is the probability of drawing a diamond. Okay? So, ano po itong intersection nila? This represents the intersection. Okay? So, here, draw a 5 and a diamond. Ibig sabihin, sa gitna nitong dalawa is the 5 na diamond. Okay? 5 diamond. Nasa gitna. Or the intersection. Kayo nang bahalang mag-imagine. Pero ganun yun. Okay? So, this brings me to my point on how to add the probabilities. Okay? So, if we add mutually exclusive events, it should look like this. P, A, and or event V, B, okay, is equals to P, the probability of A, okay, plus the probability of B, right? Tama. So, probability of A or B is equals to the probability of A plus B. Okay? So, let's take this number 1 as an example. So, here, the probability of drawing a spade card and a club card, of course, alam natin na ang spade card is equals to 13 over, the probability of drawing a spade card is 13 over 52. Bakit, sir? Because there are 13 spade cards in a total of 52 cards. Okay? Plus, the probability of drawing a club is also 13 over 52. Right? So, if we equals that, that is 0.5 or 50%. Right? How about dito sa pag-add ng mga not mutually exclusive. Not mutually exclusive, ang difference nila, since meron tayong intersection, which is itong 5, diamond na 5, okay, kailangan natin yang ibawas, okay, or the probability of the intersection or the event that is both occurring. Probability of event A or B that both occurs. And in this case, yung 5 na diamond. Okay? So, how do we solve for this one? So, parang kanina lang. Okay? No nga yun yung kanina. Draw a 5 and a diamond. Okay? So, draw a 5. There are total 4 5 cards. So, meaning 4 over 52, right? 4 over 52 plus, or the probability of A or B is equals to 4 over 52 plus ano pa? Diamond. There are 13 over 52 na diamond cards minus 1 over 52. Since isa lang yung 5 of diamond na card, so 1 over 52 equals to 0.3077. Okay? Or kung gusto nyo, i-fraction nyo, that will be 4 plus 13, 17, 16 over 52. Okay? So, you may try number 6 if you want to solve for the probability of A and B. Okay? So, let's move on to the statistical independence of the event. Okay? So, an event may be either independent or dependent. Okay? So, dependent, ibig sabihin, the occurrence of one event has no effect on the probability of occurrence of the second event. Okay? That is dependence. Okay? That is independence rather. Okay? So for example, drawing a jack of hearts is an independent event from drawing a jack of clubs from a 52 card deck. Okay? How about yung mga dependent events? Your income level is dependent, yes, your income level is dependent on your education, okay, or highest attainment of education. Another example na independent events is that the rain here in Marawi City is independent of the weather sa Manila City or Metro Manila. Okay? So itong independence or statistical independent events has 3 variation. Okay? Firstly is yung tinatawag nating marginal. Marginal. Lagyan natin ang amount. Marginal. Okay? Marginal or yung sa ibang book ginagamit nila is or simple. Okay? Simple probability. This is the probability of an event occurring. For example, if yung na-discuss natin kanina, that if we toss a dice, okay, the probability of landing a 2 face up, or yes, 2, number 2 is 16.6%. But each separate toss is an independent event. That's why if we toss it, there is the marginal probability for each possible outcome is 1/6. Okay? That is yung tinatawag nating simple or marginal probability. Okay? Yan yung na-discuss natin kanina. Okay? And then, yung tinatawag nating joint probability. Okay? Joint probability occurs when there are, of course, joint 2 or more independent events occurring, and the product, tandaan na yung word na product, okay? Product of their simple probabilities is Ito daw yung product ng simple probabilities. Okay? So, to put it into an equation, probabilities, okay? To put it into an equation is that the probability of A and B, or AB, is equals to P, the probability of A, multiplied by the probability of B. Okay? So, itong joint probability is represented by this anong tawag dito? Symbol or sign. Okay? So let's for example, the probability of tossing a 6 on the first roll and 2 on the second roll, ganun. Yun yung tinatawag na joint probability. Okay? The example this one. The probability of tossing a 6 on the first roll and 2 on a second roll is, so paano ba natin yan makukompute? So pwedeng gawin natin, P is equals to 6, the happening of 2 and 6, okay? Or 6, depende sa inyo, or 6 on first, okay? On first, and 2 on second, di ba? O, pwedeng ganyan. Depende na sa inyo. Basta ganyan yung tandaan nyo. Okay? Since this is a joint probability, an example of joint probability, and simple meaning niya is the product. Ibig sabihin, imumultiply natin. Okay? So, P, the probability of 6 on first, or the probability of rolling a 6 multiplied by probability of rolling a number 2. Okay? So, that should equal to, copy na lang muna natin to para maganda tingnan, is equals to 1 over 6 multiplied by 1 over 6. Okay? Which is equals to 0.278, or roughly 1 over, or is equally 1 over 36. Okay? So, that is an example of joint probability. Ibig sabihin, when 2 or more independent events occurring is the product or the product of the two or more independent event. Okay? So, ganyan. And if you also notice, ang 1 over 6 is greater than 1 over 36. Okay? Or 0.0278. So, the last example of independent or statistical independent probabilities is yung tinatawag nating conditional probability. Conditional probability. Okay? Dito naman sa conditional probability, this is expressed, later i-express natin mamaya, is the probability na ang event occurring given that another event has taken place. Okay? So, ano ba ang pinagkaiba nito doon sa kanina? I repeat, conditional probability is the probability of an event occurring given that another event has taken place. Ano bang pinagkaiba nila doon sa joint probability? Yung joint probability is the product of simple or nung dalawang independent probability. Itong conditional probability is the probability na mangyayari yung isang event after mangyari yung former or yung naunang event. So, conditional probability is represented by this symbol. Okay, P or probability A after, teka muna, ito B. Okay? The probability of A happening after B has occurred. Okay? So, kaya nga conditional probability is ano ang magiging probability daw ng isang event given that itong event, particularly in this example, B, has taken place. So, ano ang kanyang sagot? So, P is equals to A. Sir, why is it? Kasi yun ang difference ng number 2 sa number 3 or joint probability sa conditional probability. Ang joint probability is a product of two probabilities. Ano ang probability na makakabunot ka ng 6 at 2, 6 on the first roll and 2 on the second roll? Sa conditional probability, ano ang probability na 6 ang makukuha mo after mo what is the probability of rolling 2 after mo maka-roll ng 6? Okay? So, to simply put it, the probability of A happening after B has occurred or has taken place is equals to the probability of A. Okay? So, the book has several examples. Let me copy here. So, ito ang example. A bucket contains 3 balls, 3 black balls, and 7 green balls. So, we draw a ball from the bucket, replace it, draw a second ball. We can determine the probability of each of the following events occurring. When a black ball is drawn on the first draw, that is 30%. Here, okay? 7 green balls and 3 black balls. Ibig sabihin, there are total 10 balls, okay? What is the probability that a black ball is drawn? Okay? So here, 30%. Bakit? Kasi tatlo yung on a marginal or simple probability, 30% lang. Okay? Because tatlo yung bola out of the 10 total balls. Okay? 2 green balls are drawn. Ibig sabihin, it is represented by this equation or symbol. Probability of G and G, meaning probability of G, the product of probability G multiplied by probability of G. Or, let's say, another example is, ito pala siya sa number 4. So here, 0.7, that is the probability of the black ball, okay, multiplied by another 0.7 is equals to 0.49. This is a joint probability for two independent events. Okay, a black ball is drawn on the second draw if the first draw is green. This is an example of what we call conditional probability. Okay, this is since you are solving or looking for the probability of black or a black ball is drawn after ang na-draw down natin is green. Okay? So that is 0.30. Okay? That is 0.30. Why is it 0.30? Because there are 3 balls. 3 out of 10 balls, that is 30%. Okay? A green ball is drawn on the second draw if the first draw was green. Okay? This is another example of conditional probability. Okay? A green ball daw is drawn on the second draw. So here, P, G, after G, okay, the probability of drawing green ball after the green ball was drawn, okay, is equals to P or the probability of G, that is 0.70. Okay, that is in the case of independent events. Okay, so how about dito sa mga statistically dependent event? And then we're done with statistical independent event. So let's move on to statistical dependent. Ibig sabihin, the occurrence of one event affects the probability of occurrence of some other event. Kumbaga is, yung nangyari dati is makaka-apekto sa kung ano man ang pwedeng mangyari in the future. Okay? Sa dito, yung marginal, simple probability is computed exactly as it was sa independent. Ibig sabihin, pareho lang sila. Dito lang tayo nagkaiba sa number 2 and 3, which is joint probability and conditional probability. So let's first proceed to number 3 kasi dyan tayo medyo nalilito, okay? So conditional probability under dependent events, okay? Conditional probability. So sabi ko nga kanina, pareho lang sila ng representation. So let's say, what is the probability of A happening after B has occurred? Okay? But the problem here is that this is a dependent event. How do we compute that? Or I mean, what is the formula or a statement for this conditional probability under dependent events? That is this one. Okay? The probability of A and B, I mean A after B has occurred, okay, given that B has occurred, okay, is the joint probability of A and B over the probability of the probability of B, okay? So ganito siya. So here, dahil dito sa formula na ito, makukompute natin yung probability under the joint probability under dependent events. Okay? So joint probability is computed as follows. Okay? So P AB is equals to P, or the joint probability is equals to the conditional probability of A after B has occurred, okay, multiplied by the probability of B. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, pag na-memorize or na-memorize nyo lang yung isa dito, pwede nyo nang matandaan yung isa. Okay? So, ang technique dito is tandaan nyo yung representation ng conditional probability at saka joint probability. Pag conditional probability, ganito siya. Probability of A after B has occurred or after event B has occurred. Sa joint probability is ganito. P, or the probability of A and B happening. Okay? So, the difference of this one is basically, kung mapapansin nyo, yung sa independent, napakadali lang because PB, the probability of black ball in this example is after G has occurred is B only, or the probability of B, since it is independent. And independent event is or has no effect, or the occurrence of one event has no effect on the probability of occurrence of the second event. Okay? Whereas in dependent events, the occurrence of one event affects the probability of occurrence of some other event. Ibig sabihin, yung mangyayari kay A was or will be affected by the happening of or the probability of some other event, in this case si B. Okay, so for ito hindi niyo talaga siya medyo maintindihan, but let me give you an example. So here is an example. Assume that we have an urn containing 10 balls of the following description. 4 are white and are lettered, so here is it. Okay, 2 are white and numbered, and then there is it, numbered daw. So 3 are yellow and lettered. 3 daw are yellow tapos lettered daw. So ito siya. So, and finally 1 is yellow and numbered. So of course this one. Okay? You randomly draw a ball from the urn and see that it is yellow. So hindi mo pa tinitingnan kung lettered ba siya or numbered. But you saw that it is a color of yellow, in a color of yellow. So what then is the probability that the ball is lettered? Okay? So before we discuss that, let's enumerate muna yung mga useful probabilities na magagamit natin. So here is it. Okay? So PWL, or is it the probability that it is white and it is lettered, is equals to 4 over 10. Let's examine that. The 4 over 10, because 1, 2, 3, 4, and it is lettered, so 4 over 10. WN, or white and it is numbered, is 1 and 2 only, so 20%. Yellow and lettered, that is 30%. 1, 2, 3 over 10. And the probability that it is yellow and number is only 1, or 10%. 1 over 10, that is 10%, or 10, or 0.1, sorry. How about the probability that it is only white? Okay, so here as you can notice, W and L is a dependent event, because dependent, since yellow or being numbered or lettered depends on what color you get. Okay, or the color you get depends on what letter, or if it is lettered or numbered. Okay, so how about the simple probability or marginal probability of white, of it being white, or the chance that you draw a ball that is color white. So, bilangin natin yung white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 over 10. How about it is lettered? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 over 10. How about if it is yellow? So, yellow, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, 4 over 10, and etc. Okay? And there is another equation. So if you notice here, PW is equals to PWL plus PWN. Okay, since this one is a separate event. Okay, and if you add that one, you get PW, which is 0.4 plus 0.2 is equals to 0.6. Okay, anyway, I encourage you to master this part, itong OR, okay? Itong OR dito. Kasi there may be cases, especially in business, na hindi natin siya kayang i-graph or lagyan ng representation. Okay? So, kaya kailangan alam nyo bakit si P, the probability of it being white is equals to the probability or the joint probability of white lettered and the joint probability of white numbered. Okay? So, I hope that is understood. But the question here is, what then is the probability that the ball is lettered? Okay, so how do we compute that, or what equation should we use? So probably you will be thinking of the conditional probability. If that is what you are thinking right now, you are correct. Okay, so the probability of it being lettered is represented in this way. So L, okay, after anong event yung nag-occur na? The letter or the color Y, or the probability of it being lettered after the event of drawing color yellow has occurred. So, ano ang ating equation there? So, here is equals to probability of YL, okay, and probability of PY, because Y has occurred, or the yellow. So what is this one? So this is probably YL. If you look here, YL is 3 or 0.3. So let's write 0.3. And how about the probability of it being of drawing yellow? That is 4 over 10, that is 0.4. So 0.4, 0.4, and that is equals to how much? 0.75, meaning there is a 75% that you will draw, or the ball you draw, or the yellow ball that you draw is lettered. Okay, so that is conditional probability. Okay, so right now in this phase, you should probably wondering what is the technique na kailangang tandaan talaga dito sa probability. Here, what you should remember is the sign, or ano ba representation, or the mathematical representation of joint, conditional, and marginal. Okay, in joint, remember this, it is represented like this one. Okay, in conditional, it is represented in this one. In marginal or simple, this one. Okay, itong mga ganitong simple lang. Okay, ang difference lang ng dependent at independent is dun sa dalawa, yung joint at marginal. Okay, yung joint at marginal, since they are dependent, it can be affected by the event that has occurred. In this case, sa y, or in this case, the probability of it lettered after you choosing it, after you draw a yellow ball. Okay, ball ba to? Yes, ball. Okay, is represented in this equation as the divisor. Okay, or the probability of y, nasa denominator siya. Kaya kasi nga nakaka-affect siya. Okay, kasi nga dependent sila. So let's move on, or let me give you another example sa joint probability where events are dependent. So let's say the stockbroker informs that you the stock market reaches 12,500 point level by January. There is a 70% probability that tubeless electronics will go up in value. Your own feeling, in that statement only, mapapansin nyo na dependent siya. Bakit, sir? Kasi nga, itong 70% na probability is dependent kung mag-i-increase siya in 12,500 point level. But here, nakalagay dito, your own feeling is that there is only 40% of the market average reaching 12,500. So, yung stockbroker at ikaw, magkaiba yung probability. Okay? Or estimation of probability. Can you calculate the probability that both the stock market will reach 12,500 points and the price of the tubeless electronics will go up? Let M represent the event that the stock market reaching, okay, and let T be the event that the tubeless goes up in value. Then, how do we represent that? So, P, so this is a joint probability, not a conditional. Kasi kung conditional, ilalagay dapat dyan is after the event has occurred. Okay? So here, technique dito is reading comprehension. Kailangan maintindihan nyo kung ano ba ang minimin niya, minimin ng problem. Is it a joint probability or conditional probability? So since na-determine natin that it is a joint probability, so this one is the probability of M and T happening, or the increase in the stock market, and the T, the value of T, tubeless electronics going up, is represented in this way. Equals, okay, P, TM equals, multiplied by P, the probability of increase, okay, in or the stock value increase, stock market value increase by 12,500. So what are the probabilities that we should use? So obviously we will use, tingnan mo, there is a 70% probability after that tubeless electronics will go up. Okay? Ibig sabihin, meron daw 70% probability after tubeless yung event na stock market reaches 12,500 has happened is may 70%. So that is conditional probability. Okay? So 70% or 0.70 0.70 multiplied by what probability? 40%. Why is it 40%? Because your own feeling, the statistical or the marginal or simple probability that the market average or stock market average will reach 12,500 is only 40%. And that is why we will place here 0.40. That is equals to 28 or 0.28, 0.28. So there is only a 28% chance that both happen or both events will occur. That is represented by this joint probability of probability M and T. Okay? So let's proceed to Bayes' theory. I don't know how to pronounce this, but Bayes' theory. Okay? So when there is a new information that is made available, we need to revise or make revision to the probabilities. Okay, this means that we take the new data or the recent data and revise and improve our old probability estimates for an event. Okay, so that is what we call Bayes theory or Bayes theorem. Okay? So, here, for example, dati, alam natin na yung dice or yung, nung tawag dito, yung flip ng coin, pag flip ng coin, 50-50. But what if new information arises that the coin was loaded or biased? Ibig sabihin is, pag nalaman natin yun, kailangan nating i-identify at implement sa ating probability estimates. And that is what we call Bayes theorem. Okay? That is the revision of the old probability estimates for an event upon a new or recent data was made, or when a new or recent data available is made available. Okay, so for example, a cup contains two dice identical in appearance. One, however, is fair, meaning walang bias, and the other is loaded, meaning biased. The probability of rolling a 3 on the fair dice is, of course, 1/6 or 0.16, while the probability of tossing or rolling a number of 3 is 0.60 doon sa ating biased or loaded na dice. And we have no idea which die is which. Hindi natin alam kung ito bang nakuha natin, ito ba yung loaded or ito ba yung hindi loaded. Okay? Okay? So initially, ang alam natin, 50-50 na makukuha mo yung dice na loaded and 50-50 na makukuha mo din yung dice na hindi loaded, biased at saka yung hindi biased respectively. Okay? So, kung nakumuha tayo ng isang die, tinos natin and the result is number 3. Okay? Diyan papasok yung Bayes theorem. Given this additional piece of information, can we find the revised probability that the rolled die was fair? Pwede ba nating ma-determine na yung probability na it was the loaded die on the other hand, okay, na gi-roll natin? So the answer to these questions are yes. Okay? Or the answer to these questions is yes. So we do so by using the formula of joint probability under statistical dependence and using itong Bayes theorem. Okay? So, dun tayo mag-start sa probability na it is fair at saka it is not fair. So, P, let's transpose F as fair is equals to 50. Okay, 0.50 or 50%. And of course, the probability that it is loaded or biased is also 50% since there are two dice. We also know na alam din natin na pag nalaman natin na yung conditional probability ng isang dice, okay, na maglalabas siya sa isang fair is 0.16. Okay, they can be represented as like this one. At makukuha natin is 3 sa fair is 0.166 or 1/6. And also, under sa loaded, makukuha natin yung 3, okay, given that the event is loaded, is equals to 60%. Okay? That is based doon sa ating information na nakuha. So, how do we compute the joint probability? Okay? So, using the joint probability, gagamitin natin itong formula na P 3F, okay, or the probability that it is 3 and it is fair is equals to, okay, take note, this is a dependent event. So, mangyari, makaka-affect yung ating events prior to that. So, probability of 3, ito yung nasa formula natin, and it is fair. Okay? Multiplied by P F or fair, the probability that it is fair. Okay, so we use assign amounts. So 3, itong P3F or the conditional probability that it is 3 after the dice was determined fair is equals to, ayun, 0.16 or 0, ayan, multiplied by the simple or the marginal probability that it is ang tawag dito, it is fair, the dice was fair or is fair, so 0.50. So the answer is 0.083. Okay, how about that it is P, the probability that you get a 3 on a loaded dice, okay, 3 and it is loaded is equals to P 3 after it is determined that it is loaded, okay, multiplied by P, the probability of it or the dice being loaded, is equals to, so let's assign amount. So amount, so 0.60 multiplied by 0.50, of course, this one, at saka ito, is equals to 0.3. Okay, 0.3. A 3 can occur in combination with the state of a fair dice or in combination with the state of loaded dice. The sum of their probabilities gives the unconditional or marginal probability of a 3 on the toss. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, yung sum nila, ibig sabihin pala daw is yung probability na ito ay magiging 3 is how much? So, 0. I-add natin tong dalawa. Okay? So, 0.083 plus 0.300. So, I want you to practice this one kasi alam ko medyo nakakalito to. Pero once you understand this, napakadali na lang inshallah. Okay? So, the probability the probability that a tree can occur regardless if it is a loaded or a fair dice is 0.383, okay, or 38.3%. Okay, so if a tree does occur and we do not know which dice or which die it came from, the probability that the died or the dice that was rolled or the die rolled was the fair one, and it is computed as like this. Okay, so kukompute natin is, di ba, nakuha natin is 3. So paano ba natin isosolve yung actual na question? Okay, so here, since alam natin, babaliktarin natin. The probability that it is fair after rolling a 3 is equals to, tandaan, this is a dependent event. Okay? So, since it is a dependent event, gagamit tayo ng fraction. This one. Okay? So, I hope you can see the probability or the conditional probability that it is F after 3 was rolled is equals to the probability or the joint probability of 3F or 3 and F over the marginal or simple probability of rolling a 3. Okay, so it is equal to, let's assign amounts. So if we assign amounts here, so here should be this one, 0.083, and the probability that it is 3 is equals to, or yes, it is, you will roll a 3 is 0.383. Okay, which is equals to, how much is the equal of this one? Magkano? 0.22. Okay, you may double check. Okay, so the probability of it being fair after rolling a number 3 on the die is 0.22. Okay, how about if it is loaded? So same formula pa din, but papalitan natin, instead of F, gagawin nating L or loaded. Okay, so let's copy this one para mas mabilis. So this one should be L. Okay, the probability that it is loaded after rolling 3, ito gagawin natin, is equals to the probability of it being 3L or the joint probability. Alam niyo na yan, inshallah. So here, mag-assign tayo ng amount. So 3L is equals to 0.3. Okay, and 0.3, same amount, 0.383, and this is equals to 0.78%. Okay, so instead na 50-50 na, after natin ma-roll, okay, ang conclusion natin dyan, or ang ating posterior or revised probability is, instead dati na 50-50 lang, naging 22% at saka 78% to fair and loaded respectively. Okay? After nyan, that is why kailangan nating aralin itong revised, or sa ibang libro ginagamit nila is posterior probabilities. Kasi next na magro-roll tayo, for example, yan yung first natin na roll, mag-second roll tayo, there is a 78% na maro-roll natin is loaded ulit. Okay? Or nakuha nating dice na iro-roll natin is loaded ulit. Okay? So that is Bayes' theorem. Okay? Here is an example of the table that will help you guide, or that will guide you in the calculations. Okay, if you notice A and A, that is itong A, that this is the state of being fair, and yung A na may apostrophe, that is the state of it being loaded. Okay, And of course, meron din tayong general form of Bayes theorem. Okay? Meron din tayong general formula. So, eto hindi ko na i-discuss but I hope basahin nyo sa libro, sa module na ibibigay ko at saka itong video discussion, i-copy nyo at i-memorize nyo. Okay? So, here is it. So, what have you noticed in this formula? Here, if you noticed, pareho lang siya dito sa ginawa natin. Okay? And if you also notice, itong P3 is equals to 0.083. That is this one, right? And this one. Itong P3L, okay, this one. And this one, ipag-add daw natin ito yung mga formulas nila or equations nila. Pag i-add natin yan, P3, di ba? That is etong nasa baba. Okay? So, parang wala ka lang i-memorize. Pero ito yung parang, kumbaga is mabilisan. Or ito yung comprehensive na equation. Pag may memorize mo ito, tapos na. Okay ka na sa Bayes theory. Okay? So, yun lang. Okay? So, itong A, dito sa example natin, A na may apostrophe is ito yung loaded. Okay? So, I hope that is clear. Anyway, you may read the nung tawag dito, you may read the video or the module that I provided para mas maintindihan nyo. Okay? But Bayes theorem does not end with that one only. Okay? What if we attempt to obtain other or further information? So we rolled another die or the dice again. Okay? So after we tossed a die for a second time, we rolled another 3. So what are the further revised probabilities? Okay? So alam natin na 50-50 pa din yung makukuha natin na dice. 50% na makukuha natin is fair and 50% din na makukuha natin is loaded. Okay? But now we must compute sa bagong anong tawag dito? Bagong probabilities. So what we will do is, of course, we will compute again the joint probability of two successive trees. Okay? So here, P3, 3, pwedeng kahit anong gamitin nyo. Basta importante matandaan nyo na it is a joint probability. Pwedeng 3, 3, tapos space F is equals to, the condition. Ito pa rin yung formula na na-discuss natin. Okay? Ngayon, kasi, naging 3 after 3, kasi nga, ibang probability na yung kinukompute natin. Successive trees na. Okay? So, fair multiplied by P, fair. So, makukompute natin ito. Okay? And the same is true with loaded. Okay? Ganyan pa rin. And after that, pwede na nating makompute yung total na yung probability natin na P na successive trees. Okay, ano ba ang probability na successive trees yung makukuha natin? So, obviously, the probability of rolling successive or 2 threes is i-total natin itong 0.013 at saka 0.18. So, ang total is 0.193, right? So, that is P, ibig sabihin, 33 is equals to 0.013 plus 0.18. Ayan. Okay? So, madali na lang i-compute yung marginal probability, I mean the conditional probability na ano ba to, magiging fair ba to? Fair ba siya or yung probability na it is fair after rolling 2 successive trees. Okay, ibig sabihin ang kukunin natin is P, F, and then this one, then 3 over 3. Ayan. Diba? Yan yung i-compute natin at saka this one, P L loaded 3 over 3. I mean 3 comma 3. 2 meaning successive na 3s. Okay? So, inshallah, that is very easy na. Kasi, na-discuss na natin yan. So, that is the end of our video discussion. First video discussion for probability. And see you in the next video discussion for the random variables and distributions, and like binomial, discrete probability distributions, and etc. Okay, so please watch the second video discussion.